UFC 317, I'm going to be giving you my full breakdown for every single fight on the card. Decent card, started off with a few shitters. One of them got canceled because some guy came in like 10 or 15 pounds overweight. I don't know how the fuck that happens. And then he got cut. He got cut from the promotion. Anyways, let's get it going. Janata Denise versus Alvin Hines. Alvin Hines, his whole claim to fame is a high kick over a guy named Billy Ray Valdez, who looks like he could be on... what's the show? My 1,000-Pound Life or whatever it is. Like, he looks like he should be like the main star on Weight Watchers. And that's Alvin Hines' like best win, is getting a high kick like late in the fight against a guy like that. And Janata Denise has fought against guys who are actually solid in the division, especially against Marcin Tybura. Obviously, he got mauled against Marcin Tybura. They kind of threw him up the rankings way too quick. But before that, beating Austin Lane, beating Carl Williams, I think is decently impressive against a resume like Alvin Hines has. And Alvin Hines just isn't very technically sound. He's kind of just another fat slob of a heavyweight. I think Janata Denise gets this done handedly and quickly. I put first round KO. I don't think that this is going to be very close. I have Janata Denise wiping the floor with this guy. Yeah. Moving on. Niko Price versus Jacoby Smith. I was going to go 10 out of 10 on this. Actually, did I? Speaking of which. Yeah, I was going to go 10 out of 10 on the confidence rating for this. For Jacoby Smith, I'm taking Jacoby Smith by first round finish. If you're not, I mean, look at the odds, you know? Like, really? Are we being serious? Crack seems to be running rampant through the UFC war room, as they call it. The matchmakers are clearly smoking crack nowadays, so I'm not sure. But Jacoby Smith by murder in the first 2 minutes. Niko Price was getting KO'd by a 40-year-old Robbie Lawler. Why was this ever made in the first place? And Jacoby Smith is a very promising prospect. I mean, if you look down the line of Niko Price's career, it's loss, no contest, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I mean, and he looked like an old man against Themba. Slow footwork is getting sloppier and sloppier, and Jacoby Smith is young, and he's reaching his prime, and he's nasty, and he's powerful, and he's technical, and he's well-rounded. Moving on. Terrence McKinney versus Vichlav Borov. This is tough, but I am going to take Terrence McKinney. I put McKinney by second round TKO. Vichlav Borov, for those that don't know who this guy is, he kind of has a little bit of a problem with the grappling. When he fought Chase Hooper kind of just beat the shit out of him the whole time. He knocked him down bad with an overhand right in the first round and then just out-grappled him the rest of the fight pretty much. And then Chase Hooper went on to fight like a 43-year-old Jim Miller, and he like didn't look as dominant as we thought he was going to. So I was like, is Vichlav Borov just not that good? And I looked down his career. I forgot that he just has no experience. He's 8-5, but he's 33. I think a lack of experience this late in your career against a guy who's going to be coming at you from the jump like Terrence McKinney does, even though he is the definition of a glass cannon, I think Terrence McKinney is going to overwhelm him with clinches, and if he's smart, he'll throw a few takedowns in there just to get Borshov's mind off of the striking. If he does get to the ground, I wouldn't be surprised if Terrence McKinney got a sub. He is more well-rounded than Vichlav is. I think Terrence McKinney wears him out in the early stage of this fight, and then in the late second round gets a TKO. That's another thing about Vichlav Borov is his gas tank. He starts to slow down like a lot as the fight goes. So I think Terrence McKinney wears on him in the early stages and then gets it done by TKO in the second. Moving on from that, Viviana Arao versus Tracy Cortez. Anybody who's watched a women's MMA fight knows that the most likely outcome is a 29-28 decision, and that's what I'm going to predict, is a 29-28 decision for Tracy Cortez. And if it's really close, don't be surprised if it does go to Tracy Cortez, because she's hot and the UFC likes that for promotional value. Viviana Arao is she's old now, man. She's old. Neither of these chicks really have any finishing potential. Viviana Arao's last 5 fights, she's 2-3. The girls that she's lost to are decent. Natalia Silva, Amanda Ribas, Alexa Grasso. They're not bad, but she's on the downslope. And Tracy Cortez, this is crazy to say. She's in her prime, which is crazy to say because she's not very good. She's just hot. And you look back at Tracy Cortez's resume, the fact that she beat Jasmine Jastovicius is a very big deal because Jasmine Jastovicius is like running through the division right now. I like Tracy Cortez in a very fitting 29-28 women's MMA decision. Haidider Emil versus Jose Delgado. This is the closest fight on the card, I think. Okay, so for one, I'll start with Haidider Emil. Haidider Emil is a little bit older. He doesn't have too many fights on his record, only one more than Jose Delgado does. He's 11-0. Jose Delgado's 9-1. Haidider Emil's style is very much just march forward and take punishment, like block punches with your fucking skull is basically what he does. And he basically just tries to out-grit you, almost like a Andreas Gustafsson, but Haidider Emil's a little bit more entertaining than Andreas Gustafsson is. That marauder style of just walking forward is what Haidider Emil does. And he wears on people, and he's powerful, and his chin is incredible. And as far as Jose Delgado goes, he trains with Sean O'Malley. He trains with Marcus McGee. Oh man, it's so tough. I'm taking Jose Delgado, I think. I'm taking Jose Delgado by round 3 TKO. I think it's going to happen really, really late. Haidider Emil's old, and I trust his chin, but to what extent? And all of his fights are wars, and he's very easily hit, and Jose Delgado is almost like a sniper, and he sets up feints really, really well. And I think at some point there might be a situation where he rocks Haidider Emil and he gets him up against the cage and there's like a standing TKO of some sort. Jose Delgado is just so accurate. He's a lot younger. I think he's going to be faster, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a very, very tough fight to call. So I'm going to go Jose Delgado by late TKO. I do think he has an edge in the grappling. I don't know if we'll ever get to the grappling in this fight. If it does go to the ground, I do think Delgado has the edge. He scrambles a lot better. He's less stiff because Haidider Emil is very, kind of looks like his spine is fused together like Yoel Romero almost. And when you get to the ground, he's kind of just looks very stiff. I think Jose Delgado gets this done by late TKO. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going with Gregory Rodriguez off of the sole fact that Jack Hermansson does not seem like he's fully invested in fighting at this point in his career. Since 2023 or 2022, so he fought 4 times in 2022, and since then he's fought once. The one worrying thing about this is Joe Pyfer comes out very, very hot. He slows down as the fight goes. We saw it again in the Calvin Gastelum fight as well. Gregory Rodriguez does the same exact thing. He comes out hot. We saw it when he got TKO'd by Jared Cannonier. Came out hot, dropped Jared Cannonier early, hurt him. He got tired and folded. That was a 5-round fight though. So I trust in the fact that Gregory Rodriguez slows down his pace and kind of picks his shots a little bit better and doesn't throw as much into his shots. I don't trust Jack Hermansson anymore, dude. He's getting older and he just doesn't show up anymore. Like he's fought once in the last 2 years or in the last 3 years. I'm going to take Gregory Rodriguez. I think he gets it done by decision. Next up, Pton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. This is a really tough one. I'm taking Felipe Lima. I think Felipe Lima he's more well-versed, especially on the ground. We've seen him have some really impressive finishes, especially in terms of like when he takes people down and he gets their back. He finds his way to a sub very easily. And on the feet, he's very dangerous. But the problem that I have with Pton Talbot, for one, his grappling. We knew that when he fought Raoni Barcelos manhandled him. Like it was hard to watch almost. I do think that Pton Talbot does have the edge on the feet just because of the size and the reach advantage. But if you notice, and if you watch the Raoni Barcelos fight, Pton Talbot sets his punches up in his feints. He sets them up very close to the target, past the void, as Demetrius Johnson would call it. He's like past the void, like no, in elbow range almost, setting up feints, and like it just doesn't make sense, and he's easily hit. I understand that Felipe Lima is undersized in this, but with the way that Pton Talbot strikes, Felipe Lima's gonna be able to land, and he's gonna be able to land takedowns also. I'm gonna go with Felipe Lima. I think he gets it done by out grappling Pton Talbot, and even on the feet, when Pton Talbot does get hit decently easy, he almost like invites it, like he smiles, like shows his tongue because he's gay. Sorry, I had to. He's just easily hit, and Felipe Lima's not gonna have to really deal with the size disadvantage, I don't think, on the feet as much as a lot of people are thinking. I think Felipe Lima out grapples him and gets a decision win. I think it's gonna be very reminiscent of the Raoni Barcelos fight where Pton Talbot just doesn't really have much of an answer. Beneil Dariush versus Honado Moicano. I'm taking Moicano, and the main reason that I'm taking Honado Moicano is the last time we saw Beneil Dariush was him getting stiff KO'd by Armin. That was the last time we saw him. And then the time before that, Charles ground and pounding his face through the canvas. That's a tough back-to-back, man. Especially at this age. Whereas Moicano, it's like... I think Moicano's just a lot closer to his prime than Beneil is. Like, if you take away the loss to Makhachev, because we all knew that was going to happen when Armin pulled out and Honado had to step in. It was like, oh, he's going to get fucking torched in the first round. And he did. I mean, before that, he beat the piss out of Benoit, like really bad. Before that, comeback KO over Jalen Turner, beats Drew Dober, beats Brad Riddell, and then before that, he has a war with RDA. He's way closer to his prime than Beneil is. Like, Beneil's just getting flatline KO'd in back-to-back fights. So I'm taking Honado Moicano. I think he wins it by decision. I think there's going to be a lot of scrambles, there's going to be a lot of grappling in this. I trust Honado Moicano to hold top position more than Beneil does, which is crazy to say because at one point Beneil Dariush was looked at as one of the better grapplers in the division, but I just don't trust him anymore. Joshua Van is back versus Brandon Royval. I'm taking Brandon Royval. I just think it's too much too soon for Joshua Van. I love this guy. I wish he was better on the mic, to be honest, because at the press conference, he was like whispering into the mic and you couldn't even hear what he was saying. But he is super entertaining. But the problem that I have is the one time that Joshua Van has had trouble in his career. For one, it was the takedowns, but now he's like one of the best defensive grapplers in the division. It was against a guy who's long, works off of a long, snappy jab in Charles Johnson. And Brandon Royval, it's not the same style that Charles Johnson has, but it is the length that I think Joshua Van's going to have trouble with. And I just think it's too much too soon for Joshua Van. So I'm taking Brandon Royval. I think he wins by decision. I think it'll go 29-28. I think Joshua Van will win the first round. He'll land nice shots early. And then Brandon Royval will start getting the range and knowing when to engage, knowing when to throw certain combinations, knowing when to pick and when not to. So I'm taking Brandon Royval. I think he wins a 29-28 decision. Unfortunately, I'm rooting for Joshua Van though. I love Joshua Van. If you don't like Joshua Van, you're retarded. I don't know what to tell you. Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. I'm taking Pantoja. I think as most people are. There's a few things that I want to talk about with this. They fought a long time ago. I don't even really care, to be honest, that they fought a long time ago. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Speaking of which, how long ago was it? It was it was like 9 or 10 years ago, right? It was 9 years ago. That doesn't mean shit to me. I think Pantoja, I don't remember where I put him on my pound for pound list. I think he's well into the top 5 in terms of being pound for pound. And Kai's claim to fame at flyweight is having the knockout power. Obviously in his last fight, knocking out Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg is a guy that seems to be chinny though. He has like a very skinny neck, long skinny limbs. He just looks KO'able. But that's his whole claim to fame, is having the knockout power. Pantoja has one of the best pound for pound chins maybe ever. Kaya Sakura landed a flush flying knee on his temple and Pantoja didn't give a fuck. He just double-legged him. He did not care. Kai has trouble with the takedowns, not in the sense that you would think, like, oh, he gets taken down. No, he doesn't, obviously. He works at City Kickboxing. They drill takedown defense like it's a lifestyle. He doesn't get taken down, but when the takedown is presented, his style almost changes. He doesn't start to overextend on his shots and look for a KO. He starts to kind of be very, very wary of the takedown, just so he doesn't get taken down. The whole power side of him that puts people to sleep is out the window. So, that being said, and Pantoja's striking is very underrated, by the way. Very underrated. I think Pantoja and Kai have a very even battle on the feet, especially with Pantoja shooting the takedowns. It's going to be very tit for tat for the first couple rounds. And then the third and fourth round will come around, and I think Pantoja is going to be able to put such a pace on Kai that at some point he's going to get him down. And then that mental block of, damn, he finally got me. That's going to set in for Kai. And then in the fourth round, I think Pantoja is going to be able to do it again. Just keep working a pace. And eventually, I think he gets a rear naked choke in the 4th round. It's going to be closer than people think, though, I think. I think a lot of people are just assuming that Pantoja is going to run through him because that's what he's been doing to everybody. But I think early on, it's going to be very close. Kai's going to be cracking him with some really good shots. Pantoja will then start shooting takedowns, and the momentum will shift as the fight goes. I'm taking Pantoja. I have him by round 4 submission. Rear naked choke, to be even more specific. Main event, Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. I did a video on this, breaking down just this fight in itself. It'll pop up in this corner right here if you want to just watch that by itself. The way that Charles wins this is, there's a couple ways. The first being, he can't move backwards. If he moves backwards, wrap it up. He's going to sleep. As anybody that fights Ilia, if you start moving backwards, he's going to connect with something big and it's not going to go well. But there is another thing I've watched some film on this. When Ilia unloads in combination and he throws the left hook upstairs, his right hand drops. His right hand drops to his hip because he puts so much into it and his hips turn and everything goes into that left hook. So he'll throw the overhand right, or he'll throw the left hook to the body, overhand right, and then he'll come upstairs with the left hook and his right hand drops. And if you watch the KO that he had over Jai Herbert lands almost clean with a check left hook on Ilia's chin. Reminiscent of when Charles knocked out Michael Chandler. On the left hook, his right hand dropped, bink, landed a clean check hook, put him down, and knocked him out. That's another way that Charles can win. But Charles is going to have a huge height advantage. He's going to make Ilia look like a midget in there. Charles is going to want to reach for the clinch. When Charles goes to check kicks, he has a Muay Thai style. So for people that don't know what that means, he stands very up tall. His lead leg, most people when you check kicks, you turn your shin to the left or the right, wherever the kick's coming from, to check it so that they hit the shin or they hit the knee. Instead, because Charles has he's a Muay Thai style, he lifts up his leg and they just whiff and kick under his whole leg. When that happens, a lot of times when people kick like that, they'll crash in. Or Charles will crash in, lift up the leg, they kick, they miss. He'll reach and go for a clinch. And I talked about this in the video yesterday. When he does reach for the clinch, he lands brutal knees and brutal uppercuts, and it works really well. And he's going to be able to use that size to almost weigh down on Ilia in the clinch because he's going to have such a big height advantage. But when he exits, Charles' hands go down and he hops backward and his hands go down and he fully resets. Ilia's going to crank a left hook into his fucking skull, dude. So I have Ilia, as I said in yesterday's video. I think I have flatline KO at some point. I think he's going to hurt Charles. Charles is going to be rocked, and Ilia is going to smell a finish, and he's going to land another big one, and he's going to put him out cold. And I have it in the, what did I put on here? I think I put late 2nd round. It's possible 1st round too, but Charles has a chance to win this, man. Both these guys are psycho, but Charles is psycho enough. Get into a clinch like that and just rip a standing guillotine. Like, he's psycho enough to do that. But Ilia's also in his prime, man. So is Charles. You could say Charles is in his prime, not like he was. No, Charles was running through the whole division. He ran through Prime Tony. Maybe Prime Tony wasn't really Prime Tony at the time. Who knows? Ran through Gaethje. Ran through Poirier. Michael Chandler. Up Kevin Lee. So maybe not in his prime anymore. He's still good, but there are a lot of ways that Charles loses. He's lost 10 fights in the UFC, you know? I'm taking Ilia. I have him by flatline KO in the 2nd round. I'll probably be crying myself to sleep if he does get flatline KO'd, but it's the game we play, I guess, with this shit. So yeah, anyways, appreciate you for watching. Like and sub per usual. I got a reaction video to all the main card fights coming out on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to be doing a full recap. So appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.